back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there on the front stretch, and
Shut
um,
up.
I could have pushed it a little, wider, but
Played him. We've got some cars coming up along the main straight. Oh, punched in the face by Evan Rice. No burnouts. All right, guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. Make sure you stay tuned.
Definitely going to change everything when it comes to the finishing order of this race. Jeremy Miller, can he recover from that kind of damage? I don't really know if he could, because I mean, this is such a aero-dependent track.
Well, see, I don't think he
wall,
can, because
like he smacked it pretty hard.
He came into the pits immediately after the leader, as now Chambliss comes into the pits. So does the 37 of Swiggett. So this could leave Robbie Kennelly into the lead of this race. Sam here going into turn 1. So he's got the 25 of Brandon Miller behind him, who hello everyone and welcome to the Daytona International Speedway for round number 6 of the Output Racing League, the Gladiator 175, as the championship is starting to heat up. Thomas Harmon is out to a pretty big lead at the moment, but with the race being held here at Daytona, anything can happen. Absolutely anything can and will happen. and it will usually happen at the time when you least expect it. As it looks like the drivers are now just about preparing for a pit party. As pit lane is pretty loud here. See if we can get a slightly quieter angle somewhere. As there is the sound of shenanigans. Peter 2 of Chris Champeau out on track. There's the 8 of Brian Harris. 65 Corey Steinhauser up near the wall. Definitely has all the makings for a pit party. Brian Harris taking the sports car exit. 61 of TJ Crampton, the 64 of Jonas Marquez. There's definitely some weird graphical things going on here. I think maybe some of the cameras are experimenting with X-ray vision going through the body panels. It looks like everyone's starting to get lined up here for the pit party. Almost no one wants to be at the front, everyone wants to be at the back. But sometimes the best place to lead these things is from the front. As we have everyone getting lined up here. Some of these guys just straggling well back from everyone else. For Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator. The 24 cars to take on the racing action here tonight. Strength of field of 24-17 for Oppen Racing for the pit party. To the 8 of Thomas Harmon, the points leader. And he's going to be the one to immediately take it 3 wide. A lot of shuffling going on throughout the pack. Wide up towards the front. This is the only 2 wide action that you'll see here, as everyone's 3 wide. Everyone's getting a little bit antsy as well. Oh, 4 wide does not work. That's Frank Isaacson, Bryce Kemi, Jared Sanchez, TJ Crampton, and Brian Harris involved in this one. Oh, and the other pack has started to have a crash as well. So, 2 of Chris Champeau, Brennan Bennett, Paul Cox, Thomas Harmon, Robert Devore, Jonas Marquez, Matt Burgess involved in this one. I think Sam Niederhelm got away with this one scot-free. And Matt Burgess has all the noise but no go. Definitely a lot of damage to that 12 car. A lot of damage too to the number 6 of Robert Devore. So I think we're going to have to re-rack this and stack this and go again. Oh, there's a punt. Corey Williamson coming into the pits. Absolutely smashing the 39 James Watson. Didn't see who else it was he hit. we're getting ready for pit party take 2. Just a couple of the guys didn't get the memo that it's a pit party. They're racing out of the pit lane as fast as they can. Can't even say they're getting ready for pit stops later if we do get a green flag pit stop, because tyres won't be feeling that good if they don't change tyres. Oh, the two of Chris Champeau got the pit exit there all kinds of wrong. Let's have a look at the standings so far here in practice. Got Brian Pizzocchemi sitting on top of the totem pole with a 46.776. There's Thomas Harmon, Travis Massia, Matt Burgess, Robert Devore, Cole Woods, Paul Cox, Jonas Marquez, Sam Niederhelm, and Joe Slama as your top 10. Again, 24 cars to take on this race, 24-17 strength of field. It looks like things here are still very, very unorganised. Should be all formed up coming to green, and there's definitely no formation there. So we'll probably have to go one more time around. They're just gonna quickly get over to turn 3 and get one by the looks of things. Travis Massia deciding to drop to the back. DJ Crampton sneaking his way up to the front. Metaphorical pace car is in. And there we go. Let's see how far we can get before they decide to start wrecking this time. Because as we know, pit parties are usually just filled with death here in the outdoor racing league. Generally speaking, they're all right when it comes to the racing part of things. As, wow, already. There's a 60 across, the 13 Massia, 2 of Chris Champeau's in it, the 38 Thomas Harmon, 66 of Sam Niederhelm. I think he just got caught up in that. Didn't see who else got caught up in it. I think the 5 Mark Pence couple was another victim of it. Currently focused on the 24, Frank Isaacson. He's on the back of this pack. Trying to look for a way around Paul Cox and James Watson. 2 of Chris Champeau just coming out of the pits. He's joined nicely onto the back of this pack. And Frank did end up getting around both of those cars. Following the 3 of Paul Cox. That's around the 78 of Brian Pizzocchemi as well. And there they go. 61 TJ Crampton, Frank Isaacson, 39 James Watson, and they all decided to take the jump. Ryan Buscemi's in it. TJ Crampton flipping down. Oh, Ryan Harris just smashed by Steinhauser. Oh, Matt Burgess caught a piece of it. Heard that Travis Massia's engine just expired. I think maybe they're going to re-rack the stack and go again. One of Corey Williamson just behind him to Chris Campo. One in the 38, Brennan Bennett, Thomas Harmon. Bennett's coming to the pits, Thomas Harmon likewise. Oh, I don't know if they got slowed up in time. In fact, Thomas Harmon into the grass. So he got it very wrong. Campo and Williamson are in as well. Sanchez just behind them. Everyone starts making their way back out onto the track on the other side of the pit lane. Only about 12.5 minutes left here in practice before these guys start getting serious with qualifying and then getting into the race. Yeah, I'd like to thank Gladiator for sponsoring this race. They're a long-time supporter of the Aussie Sim Commentator channel and the Output Racing League. There's of course the sponsorship of the number 13 of Travis Massia. Everyone's getting warmed up a lot quicker this time. A little bit of dilly-dally, but not much shilly-shally. Here we go for the next pit party. Get off and racing. As we are just about at the 10-minute mark left in practice. The 5 of Mark Pinsker already getting swallowed up and sent towards the back. Oh, and he's gone. The 2 was the 39 of James Watson. And they're both off the back of the drafting pack. Oh, the 66 of Sam Niederhelm came down across Steinhauser. They're both gone. Watson's gone. Oh, I can't see who that is up there. That's Robert DeVore. I think Travis Massia ran into him. Oh, Frank Isaacson's gone with help from Chris Champeau. Shenanigans all throughout. It's pit parties like these where you find out what these cars are capable of in the run. of the Speedway Memes Motorsports drivers hooked up nose to tail there. DJ Crampton and Paul Cox just behind them. Aaron Sanchez, league owner and operator. Three wide they go around Joe Salama. Oh, there was a touch there. From Cole Woods onto Joe Salama. Good practice is the best way to play around with the draft and see what you can and cannot do. Where it's good to push and where it's not good to push. And the very Paul Cox is in the fence. Oh, trying to go pretty wide underneath him. And that pretty much turned disastrous. Still somehow managed to keep it going. Just over 7.5 minutes left here in practice now. Oh, and around goes Kuzakemi and Thomas Harmon, and that was off the nose of Sanchez. Did a 1, Brennan Bennett, the 22 Cole Woods, they also got caught up in that. Looks like everyone's heading back into the pits for another pit party. Nice burnout there from Corey Williamson. Maybe he feels something coming. He's got to practice for it. And as I said, crazier things have happened. This is Daytona. As Corey Steinhauser crashes in the pit lane. There's a couple of cars already out waiting for the next pit party. The 13 of Travis Massia, 9 of Joe Slama. Got the 6 of Robert DeVore out there, Frank Isaacson, Sam Niederhelm. This is just about the whole field. See what we can get here in this pit party. As the metaphorical pace car makes his way to the pit lane. And they're off. the 61, TJ Crampton, trying to make that first bit of work, trying to get around the 12 of Matt Burgess. 24 Frank Isaacson got looked out there by the looks of things. 12 of Matt Burgess is on him now. Oh, Frank's in defence once more. Around goes the 12 of Matt Burgess. Oh, that's heavy impact. 78 Brian Pizzicami going through the pit lane. And he's going to rejoin on the back of the group. Oh, and there's a big one. Oh, the one of Brandon Bennett just got sent over. Not sure who got into him. Pizzicami's in it. Niederhelm, Cole Woods. Ryan Harris, 61, TJ Crampton going backwards. Yeah, that was just about everyone. So now just have under 3 minutes left. And I think these guys are going to be crazy enough to attempt another one with what little time they have left. Gladiator Brian Pizzicami crashed coming out of the pits. So just 2 minutes left now. These guys here are all formed up. And we're going to go for a 3-wide Indy start. At least for the front row 3-wide Indy start. I think mostly everyone else was still catching up. Ended up making it 3-wide though. Oh, and there is disaster. There are so many people involved in this. Now with less than a minute to go in practice, we are going to go to a commercial break. So stay tuned, qualifying coming up next. Then directly after qualifying, the grid will be set for the Gladiator 175 right here from the Daytona International Speedway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway for the Gladiator 175 here for the Output Racing League. Qualifying has been complete. Time to start going through our starting grid. Starting off the pole is going to be the 33 of Matt Horton. Done at a P2 will be the 12 of Matt Burgess. P3 will be the 61 of TJ Crampton. And P4 will be the 60 of Carl Kraus. P5 will be the 64 Jonas Marquez with P6, the 24 of Frank Isaacson, P7 the 39 of James Watson with P8 the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P9 will be the 9 of Joe Slatmer with P10 the 83 of Adam Bowden. And we're going to have Cole Woods, Corey Williamson, Brian Harris, Chris Champeau, Joan Sanchez, John Lazelle, Travis Massio, Corey Steinhauser, Sam Niederhelm, Brian Pizzicami, Brandon Bennett, Mark Pentacuff, Paul Cox, and Robert DeVore coming in at the 24th position. 70 laps here of the Daytona International Speedway. Could be a fantastic race to watch as the field is starting to make its way out onto the track. Matt Horton with Victoria Justice on the car here tonight. He had enough of Elizabeth Olsen. Thomas Harmon still has Avril Lavigne. That's one thing that'll probably never change. Now it's time for the dance. It's all about trying to find the right partner at the right time and move on from there. All these early laps are just to get yourself in a decent position for the rest of the race. Find out who you can and cannot drive with, and who you're going to trust for the end of the race. Field comes through turns 3 and 4. Pace car will start making his way to the pit lane, and then we'll get ready to get the green flag here for the Gladiator 175. Pace car is in. We're off and racing. Side by side they go out of the tri-oval down towards turn number 1. And you can see there's no clear advantage for either line just yet. See how they go as they come out of turn number 2. Matt Burgess on the outside, the slight advantage over Matt Horton. It's the Matt and Matt show at the front. Two Matts don't make a ride, it just means clean feet. No 3 wide action just yet, very contrary to how the pit parties went. Let's see who's going to be the first to cross the start-finish line at the start of this race. It's going to be the 12 of Matt Burgess leading the first lap. Matt Horton holding onto second, you saw there. The 83, Adam Bowden, almost getting into the fence in turn 1. Lucky to stay off it. As behind these guys, everything's all piled out, everyone's taking it easy. The front of the field is all 2x2 formation. Except for the lead of the race, which belongs to the 2 Matts. Burgess followed by Horton. Just behind them, the 61 of TJ Crampton. Outside of him is the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Trying to take third away on the outside line there. Two Matts actually building a small margin over the rest of the field. It's only half a second at the moment, but for a super speedway, that is huge. No doubt that these guys will be able to claw that back as Kyle Kraus wiggles his way down to that inside lane. Takes up the draft with the leaders. And look at Frank Isaacson. He is doing so well right now. Up in 4th position. We don't usually see Frank powerful position that he's got. Current league number 1 in the standings, Thomas Harmon, right on his tail. And these guys are going for the lead right now. 3 wide behind. The 2 of Chris Champeau finds some room up the middle. Corey Williamson and Kyle Kraus. Frank's just a little bit of all over the place just in front of these guys. He's not used to being in this position. Oh, there's contact between the 2 and the 81. There was no wreck. I think the 81 Corey Williamson might have a little bit of damage on that car. Starting to pull back a little bit. John Sanchez letting him into the line. Damage possibly isn't too bad yet. There's enough that these guys are actually starting to fall off from that front pack. Let's go back up to the front of the field, see how they're getting on. Frank Isaacson getting pushed by Thomas Harmon. And things finished as they are right now. This would be Matt Burgess's 2nd race win in a row, and Frank Isaacson will definitely elevate his way up the standings. Matt Horton still holding on strong. 2nd in line on the bottom. The battle for the front of the field is between Autism Awareness and Dr. Pepper. That Burgess still leading the way though, but here comes the 24, Frank Isaacson. He will take the lead from Matt Burgess, coming out of turn 2. Now let's see if he can hold off long enough to lead a lap. So 2 in the 38. Chris Champeau, Thomas Harmon. They get hooked up like this, they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. I think the 38, Thomas Harmon, well and truly in the lead. Look at that. Now he is going to lead this lap, and he's going to lead the bottom lane. For the 33, Matt Horton jump up into the 2nd lane. Thought that they were moving a little bit and wanted to get a piece of that. Definitely have 2 different packs going on here. Cole Woods, 1 pushing the 2 of the Champeau. Guys just looking a little bit sketchy there. Looks like Chris would almost be able to just slide into that gap, but the 60 Kyle Kraus very quickly closing that gap. He was trying to get side draft up to the 12 from Matt Burgess. He wants to get up to the front and lead. 12 of Matt Burgess doesn't want to get stuck there. Third on the inside lane. He's moving around looking to see if he can maybe make it through. Oh, Woods in the 22. Like he stepped out just to get some fresh air onto that grill. Now Chris Champeau is going to lead this lap. There's definitely some pace in it there for the outside lane. You just got to play it smart. Cole Woods again. He's out to get some fresh air, and he's going to lose the spot there to Matt Horton. Oh, Frank's a little bit sideways. Cars are scattering everywhere. It looks like everyone has kept it going. Now losing away from Matt Horton, Thomas Harmon and Matt Burgess. Frank Isaacson has dropped all the way down to the 8th position. Thomas Harmon hedging his bets on Matt Horton, pushes him massively into the lead. I think he's trying to get enough of a gap that they both can swing down, and he does. Chris Champeau. Looking to see if that on the outside line is worth jumping up for. He's got to time his run to the outside lane just right, or else he's going to lose out on a little bit of track position and speed. Momentum is one of the biggest things about super speedway racing. See, the outside lane right now just has no momentum at all. If anyone wants to challenge for the lead, the best thing that they can do right now is just fall in line to regroup and see if anyone else jumps up into that outside lane, maybe run with them for a little bit. As we have a caution on the track. It's 65 as Steinhauser stopped. See what happened back here. 78 Pizzakemi was in it. He's up in front of Steinhauser here. What happens? The 66 San Anita Helm, 4 Jones Sanchez, 81 Corey Williamson. All about trying to figure out what happened here. Does Niederhelm turn Sanchez maybe? Oh, that is actually exactly what happened. Sanchez up into the fence. Comes down. Oh, takes out Pizzakemi. Massia, nowhere to go. Pentecoff, nowhere to go. Paul Cox, nowhere to go. Steinhauser coming in late. Almost thread the needle. He goes around as well. Paul Cox actually starting to drive off. An extra little tap there for Pizzakemi and Steinhauser as well. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get this mess cleaned up and see how we go for the restart. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway. Pit stops are complete, and Kyle Kraus is leading the way. Everyone stopped on that one just to get a top up on fuel. Never know when the next caution is going to be. That's Kraus, Harris, Cole Woods, Matt Burgess, TJ Crampton, Joe Slammer, Jonas Marquez, James Watson, Frank Isaacson, and Matt Horton as your top 10. Two cars still trying to make their way around to the rest of the group. Steinhauser, Pentacuff, a couple of those. Sanchez, Pizzakemi, and Cox still in the pits. They've all gone a lap down. Now, I think just for something a little bit special on this restart, we're going to crank it up. Oh, disaster has struck. Well, the 39 and James Watson go around there. See what unfolded. This is just in turns 1 and 2. Was it up here a little bit? Oh, yep, the 12 of Matt Burgess has spun Brian Harris. That's down into the 1. And the 64 Jonas Marquez, he went to the apron to try and avoid. He ended up collecting Frank Isaacson. And 39 James Watson has gone around. Oh, Thomas Harmon also getting a big piece of that. '83 Adam Bowden also collecting a little piece of James Watson there. And I think Adam Bowden only has one wheel spinning on the rear end. So that second caution came out very quickly there. Wasn't expecting it that quick. Kyle Kraus is going to be leading the way. Get a full update on where everyone is at here shortly. Jonas Marquez is in the pits. 24 Frank Isaacson is in the pits. I do believe the 4 Jonas Sanchez is OUT out of this race from the first incident. But that just brings the tempo down here a little bit more. That usually happens with 2 quick cautions, especially around a super speedway. Should see just about everyone coming into the pits for a top up. But you definitely don't need to pit the tyres. Looks like Cole Woods, Robert DeVore both stayed out on track. 60 Kyle Kraus is the first one in and out of the pits. We've got Cole Woods, Robert DeVore. Both new drivers to the Output Racing League. Both of them 1.6k I rating actually. Cole Woods is 1613 and Robert DeVore 1695. Cole Woods with an A-Class 3.5 license and Robert DeVore with an A-Class 2.5 license. Get the one green here. Quick cautions around a Daytona International Speedway. So your order is going to be Cole Woods, Robert DeVore, Carl Kraus, Matt Burgess, Joe Slama, DJ Crandon, Corey Williamson, Brandon Bennett, Chris Champeau, and Sam Niederhelm as your top 10. Brian Harris, Thomas Harmon, Travis Massia, Corey Steinhauser, James Watson, Matt Ward, Adam Bowden, and Mark Pentacuff. That's down to 18th. We got Frank Isaacson, Jonas Marquez are both 2 laps down in the pits. Paul Cox 6 laps down in the pits with Brian Pizzacchemi. Jaron Sanchez is OUT out, and John Lazelle didn't even turn a lap. ENS. Here we go. Let's try the crank it up again. This is the last one. Epically failed. Try it one more time. back. See that towards the front of the field. The action was hitting that road 3 wide. Matt Burgess has recaptured the lead. Paul Woods is sitting on second. Leading the outside line. Until Chris Champeau just in behind him. And we managed to make it 2 laps without an caution. Always a big plus when you can do that. Especially around Daytona. What I do see is right back to 65 car, about to lose the draft. Got half a second in Sam Niederhelm, but without anyone else there with him, he's probably going to lose out on that car very quickly. Go back to the front of the pack. See that 81 of Corey Williamson has just been pushed to the lead by the two Chris Champeau. Both of them make it down into the inside lane. Corey Williamson is going to officially lead a lap here in the Output Racing League. Robert Ball now leading that outside lane. Let's put this on to focus on crashes, see where it focuses us. TJ Cranton, first car single file in this front pack. Now look at Kyle Kraus. Is the 5th car on the inside line. Corey Williamson and Chris Champeau continue to lead the way here. Robert DeVore on the outside line, trying to charge up on them. The 1 of Brandon Bennett and the 9 of Joe Slama. Starting to make some decent headway in it too. The 6 of Robert DeVore has now officially led a lap. Outside line. Capitalize on the momentum that they are offering. And that's ended up hurting more than it's helped by Brandon Bennett. Absolutely leading the way now with 2% in behind him. That's how quickly fortunes can change here at Daytona. Saw before. He's been dominant all season. He got caught up in that last crash. Not sure how much damage is on that Gladiator. It's firmly in the back of this pack in 13. Up to the back of the 2 of Chris Champeau, who is in the lead. Well, with Matt Burgess just in behind both of them. Nicole Woods still trying to, and he's got some decent help there. Corey Williamson did have James Watson, but he just moved to the inside lane. Looks like you also got Sam Niederhelm out there, Robert the Ball. One of them just jumped inside line. I'm not sure who that one was. It was probably Williamson that jumped to the inside lane. Looks like our front pack, for what seems to be the first time ever, has got completely single file now. See how long this lasts. Didn't seem to last too long earlier. Like the front back here, that will encounter a lap car. There's a Kenny who is 10 laps down. Watching 81 of Corey Wilson. Really good showing for Corey Williamson. Got a good time at the front, led a lap. As there is the 78 of Brian Kenny. One lap down on the rest of the field. Now 11 laps down. Puts him on the same lap as Frank Isaacson. James Watson now, currently P7. The front of the field is still the tool for Champeau. One of Brandon Bennett on his tail, that Burgess on the 12. Very calm right now. Is this going to be the status quo for the rest of the race? Another bit of lap traffic. That was 64, Jonas Marquez. Jonas was 13 laps down. Next time by We will be halfway through this race. With 35 laps down, 35 laps to go. We have 34 laps complete. Safely there. No one's really looking racing. No one's really wanted to step out. Everyone's just kind of single filed out. Now past the halfway mark. Let's go have a look at Kazakami, see how he's doing. He's coming out of turn 4. He's all by himself. Let's go behind him now. Steinhauser. Steinhauser's got a merry band of men. Himself, Mark Pentecoff, Adam Bowden, Frank Isaacson. Pentecoff and Bowden close to on the lead lap with Steinhauser. Frank Isaacson, who is 11 laps down. These guys are quite a fair way off the lead. Go back up to our leading pack. Back at our leader, the Tour Chris Champeau. The next question that will be starting to get raised is some of these cars. Namely being the 65 Steinhauser to Champeau. Both of them leading their respective packs and had been for a while. So they're unable to stay through the draft. But stark contrast. Champeau to drive a little bit easier. So if you wanted to lift off every now and then, you absolutely could. Whereas Steinhauser is stuck to being fully held the whole way. He's trying to make sure his little group of merry men do not go a lap down. As around Adam Bowden they go. And that's weird because Adam Bowden was right up there with Steinhauser and Isaacson earlier. Something must have happened to it. Looks like maybe some of the guys in this pack are starting to get a little bit antsy. Testing the waters a little bit, opening those out. As I'm sure we're going to start seeing pit stops here fairly shortly. Next 10 laps, pit stops will probably start. Another thing too is not everyone pitted on that second caution, so not everyone got to come up. half a lap of racing between that first portion and that second portion. He still used a little bit of fuel, just a couple of litres worth of fuel. Because these are big old thirsty V8s. Now just have 29 laps to go, so we're within the final 30 laps. Guys will definitely have to start organising who they're going to be pitting with here shortly. Start planning between themselves. Who you pit with and when you pit could also be the deciding factor for where you finish in this race. But this is the kind of decision that would take Thomas Harmon from being down in 10th to running for the win. And there's also the possibility of caution coming out during the pit stop cycle. There's someone who didn't quite put it enough on the brake pedal coming into the pit lane and spinning out. Too much brake pedal into it. And there's also the other side of it. Someone gave it too much shandle on exit. Those are just all things we'll have to wait to see what happens. Still looking at James Watson. We're nearing 44 laps complete, which means 26 laps to go. Good number if I do say so myself. Now let's see who's going to pit and when. But no takers for it so far. Cole Woods and Robert DeVore. A couple of them who are probably hoping to race here and caution before, because those are a couple who did not pit under that second caution period. definitely a good run for Corey Williamson. As I was saying before, he's gone up there, led some laps. Still in the top, what is it, the top 14 here in this front pack. Now we're closer to some more lap traffic. I just noticed that Steinhauser and Harm and Isaacson have actually dropped Mark Pentecup, and he's one of those at risk of going a lap down here very shortly. So whether you're watching this on Twitch or watching it back on YouTube, I want to hear your prediction right now. Write it in the chat, write in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the race from here? How many more portions do you think we'll get? Going 8 laps down. From end of lap 49 means we'll have just 21 laps to go. Mark Pentecup has gone a lap down. Any lap now, we should be starting to see some pit stops happening. See Adam Dowden going for another lap now. Focus back up on Chris Champeau. Next car to go a lap down will be Travis Massier in the 13. We're already 2 laps down. Goes down a lap here, we'll make 3 laps down. 3 seconds away from it. It looks like he's got no drafting help whatsoever. And after him is the 78 of Brian Pizzicani, who's 6 seconds up the road. And he actually looks like he's chilling out in that pack with Steinhauser and Isaacson. And I think they're starting to lose him here. Yeah, they've absolutely just dropped Pizzicani from their little pack. Now, who is going to make the first pit stops? That is the ultimate question. And when will they do it? And the 2 and the 65, the cars must be getting really thirsty right about now. They've been in lead of their respective packs for a very long time. This is why it's not good to be leading in a super speedway scenario. Because you have to push it as long as you can, and there's a chance that you could run out of fuel early. And we have two takers. The sticks of Robert DeVore. Maybe just one taker. I thought Sam Niederhelm was on his way in as well, but it's not. It's just Robert DeVore. As Pat catches back up to Brian Kenny. Put him another lap down. That'll make him 12 laps down. But no, it makes him 13 laps down. He must have pitted. Absolutely, he must have taken his second pit stop. Yeah, he's only got 5 laps on his run, so he has taken his green flag stop. But more people coming in now, the 2 and the 1. Brandon Bennett almost overshot. Cole Woods definitely overshot. And that is going to be a penalty for Cole. Chris Champeau is in. Brandon Bennett, I think he bowed. He did. He bowed on his pit stop. Did he shoot through the grass? He did. Absolutely shoot through the grass. Oh, he got a little bit of a tap. When the 12 of Matt Burgess couldn't get it woed up. And rather than get a penalty, he is just going to drive straight through back to the track and try and get back up to speed. Now, who's going to be the next one to come into the pits? Steinhauser and Isaacson coming in for their stops. No other takers. We've got a few guys behind them actually. Brian Harris, Sam Niederhelm are in, Cole Woods, so penalty. Mark Pentacup is in, Adam Bowden is in. Well, Brandon Bennett actually choosing not to go through to the pits this time. I think he might be waiting on the possibility of a caution. And no takers again this time. Cole Woods right now is first car 1 lap down. Rory Steinhauser currently the second car 1 lap down. Adam Bowden. He's on the inside. Oh, the leaders don't know what to do. They've run into him. That was crazy. Obviously, a few of the leaders coming in this time to assess their damage. Yeah, the 12 of Matt Burgess is in. 61, the 81, 39, the 9, the 38, the 33, they're all in the pits. Mark Pentacup, he's just come out of the pits. He's got Brandon Bennett with him. Oh, and we've got some spinners. 66 is Sam Niederhelm, one of those. What happened there? Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy. We've got 66 of Sam Niederhelm, the 60 of Kyle Kraus, the 3 of Paul Cox. Kraus, who was leading at this point. Paul Cox up into the fence. He was trying to force the lap cars 3 wide. Now what happens here going into turn 1? Like we should get a better angle on this. He thinks he's clear and starts coming down across the nose of Sam Niederhelm. He goes down onto the apron. Sam moves up to avoid him as he's coming back up, but just gets caught in the left rear, and around they both go. So with that, Cole Woods is going to become the lucky dog, and we are going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be going to the checkered flag, but you know what they say, cautions breed cautions. Let's see what happens when we come back to the Gladiator 175 here on the Daytona International Speedway in just a moment. Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway, and welcome back to the Gladiator 175 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. 2 of Chris Champeau is going to be leading the way from Brian Harris, Robert DeVore, Kyle Kraus, as they did not pit under the green flag just yet. So they pitted all under the caution there. Everyone else who pitted before the before that caution came out has gotten the wave around. So that's going to be TJ Crampton, Thomas Harmon, James Watson, Matt Burgess, Matt Horton, Joe Slammer, Corey Williamson, and Sam Niederhelm. And we're all just waiting to jump onto the back of this pack. And Brandon Bennett, I think, was actually the lucky dog recipient there. As we are gearing up for a restart here, a lot of the field has not caught up quite yet. The pace car makes his way in, but we're off and racing. A big jump for the 2 of Chris Champeau that could end up hurting him here. You see the 6 of Robert DeVore closing up that gap quickly, but staying right on his back bumper. Restart here. 65 of Corey Steinhauser says, I don't want a piece of this. Backs out of it, drops to the back. But it is on for Young and Old at the front of the field. It's on for Young and Old in the middle of the field. Need a 12 of Matt Burgess flying his way through the field. Already made it up to 5th. Brandon Bennett going 3 wide with Kyle Kraus rounding outside. And he's trying to take the 12 of Matt Burgess with him. They're now battling for the lead, just about. They are battling for the lead, actually. Brandon Bennett takes the lead away. Lead at 8. Brian Harris up there as well. Matt Horton sitting in 4th. He wants to come through as well. Oh, as someone got into the fence, I didn't quite see who that was. I think as a 2 with Chris Champo. Let's go back and have a look at what happened. There's a 60 Kyle Kraus there as well. Oh, contact between the 2 and the 60. Oh, and that's actually really big damage for the 60 of Kyle Kraus. He will be OUT out of this race. Champo still managing to race on, but he has lost a lot of positions. He's all the way down in 11th now. Coming side by side for 10th. The 61 of TJ Crampton is Crampton. Is James Watson a little bit of a push? Going back to the front of the field now. One of Brandon Bennett still leading the way. But at 8 of Brian Harris there, to 33 of Matt Horton as well. Of course, 12 of Matt Burgess sitting there in 2nd. Last week's winner from Watkins Glen. Got 5 to go. And we've only got a race of 8 cars. Everyone else has fallen off from this pack. There's not even any lap cars in this pack. All your actual top 8 fighting it out for the win right now. The 33 of Matt Horton gets a nice run on the outside with Joe Slammerer and Thomas Harmon. Corey Wilson joining in on with them as well. And just about the entire outside lane has gotten cleared. The top 3 certainly did, with Matt Horton leading the way. And they're going to continue the rim right around the top. They say, we don't want that inside line. We're quite happy up the top here. Oh, now Matt Horton goes down to the inside. Opens up the way for Joe Slammer and for Thomas Harmon. Gets a big shove from the 81 of Corey Williamson along the back straight. Bob and Matt Burgess shuffling around, trying to find a good run. Got 4 and 4 again as Joe Slammer leading the way. He's going to lead a lap here officially as well. This is the magic of Daytona. Anything can and will happen. I think we've had 3 league rookies all lead laps around here tonight. A-Class 4.29, 47.57 I rating. That's a 12 of Matt Burgess on the tail of Thomas Harmon. Works his nose out, get a little bit of air, goes straight back to pushing. And Thomas got a little bit unsettled there on the exit of turn 4. Oh, a little bit of a door as well from Corey Williamson. And that was enough to spook Matt Burgess off. Corey Williamson now heads up to lead the top lane. Thomas Harmon falls into the bottom lane. He moves back up to the top after regaining some of his momentum. We do have 2 to go, so 1.5 laps left to run in this race now. Where the battle for the win is going to take place. Oh, this is a second pack. Oh, I think that was a 66 of Sam Niederhelm who got shoved into the fence. Back up with our leaders, Corey Williamson leading the white flag. It's this white flag last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. Thomas Harmon second in line in that outside lane. But Joe Slammer Harmon looking for a gap to open up so he can try and push the middle. Oh, and he's around. I think Joe Slimer got caught up in that as well. Bad bump from Matt Burgess, I do believe. And Matt Burgess now up the inside. He's going to take the lead. But the 6 of Robert DeVore there as well. One of Brandon Bennett. Oh, and it's anarchy on the last lap. It's a 12 of Matt Burgess. He's going to come home with a win at Daytona, making it 2 in a row. Matt Horton has come home second. Brian Harris in third. Oh, Corey Williamson. That sad and sorry sight right there. As looks like he's going to try to get back out onto the track and keep going. Oh, and he's just been absolutely slammed. Who was that? Oh, that was Steinhauser. Steinhauser, who was on for 12. Fallen back to 13. Now, let's back this up and just see what unfolded here. We're just looking at this incident off of turn 4 because this was just absolutely nuts. They're coming off of 4 here. You could call that 3 wide with Bennett, Horton, and Williamson. Williamson and Harris hit. And DeVore comes up and sideswipes one of Brandon Bennett. 12, the 33, and the 8 all get underneath it and keep going on. 6 and the 1. They're going to continue on from there with their damage. They're going to come home with 4th and 5th. 81 of Corey Williamson crashes down to the inside and then takes his anger out on the other Corey just to call it even Stevens, I guess. That doesn't take away anything from the 12 of Matt Burgess, your winner here tonight for the Gladiator 175. Gonna wait for him to come around to the front straight to do some victory burnouts as the fireworks are going off in turn 3 on the infield. On TJ Cranston, who's still waiting to finish. There he goes. And there goes the 12 of Matt Burgess, celebrating his win here at Daytona in style. Now we are going to go to a commercial break as he gets stuck on the banking. When we come back, we'll have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Now it is time for driver interviews. We're kicking things off with our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. And our Hard Charger Award winner for this evening is also our third place getter, the 8 of Mr. Brian Harris. Brian, a bit of a chaotic race out there with some last lap drama. What was the race like from your perspective?
It was like you said, it was very chaotic. Bunch of bobbing and weaving, a lot of hard battling and charging there at the end. It was fun. Um, Want to apologize to Corey there for that last lap incident that we had. Drifted low coming off the corner on the high side by the wall.
All right, now let's talk about the beginning of the race there. We had a couple of quick cautions, and then we went into a long green flag run, which culminated in most of the field having to do a green flag pit stop, but not yourself. What was that like?
Actually, I did have to do the green flag. I actually came out behind Frank and Corey. The green flag was interesting though, especially with nobody really changing tires, more of a gas and go thing. So the tires were really slick coming back out onto the track. But it was definitely a lot more of an eye opener than what I was expecting it to be.
All right, now Brian, let's look forward towards next week. And next week, once I get that loaded, I'm going to be going to Kansas. What's the feeling like for you as we head into the Kansas Speedway?
Kansas has always been one of my tougher tracks, so it's going to be. I'm looking at putting in a little extra work, getting with the team, and getting the team together to see what we can do to make the car a little bit faster and a little bit more competitive.
All right, Brian, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to ORL for putting this league together and the broadcast team. You guys do an awesome job every week, and Blue Chew Americas for putting a great car together for this race. It was fun and chaotic, and it was a really fast car that they got together today.
All right, Brian, thank you very much for coming out. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Kansas.
Look forward to seeing y'all there.
All right, guys, that was our third place getter and our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner, the 8 of Brian Harris. Coming up next, as I moved the wrong person, I moved myself. We're going to have our second place getter, and tonight's second place getter is the 33 of Mr. Matt Horton. Matt, crazy race there, especially at the end. What was it like from your perspective?
Kind of like you said, it was kind of just nuts. I got the lead with I think 4 or 5 to go, and unfortunately, almost got wrecked from the lead, which caused me to lose the lead. And then the last lap, it was just, I guess, insanity, stupidity. People wrecking everywhere, and luckily enough, I was able to miss it and come home second.
It was definitely a pretty tough effort there to come home P2 at the very end, especially with just how chaotic things became on that final lap.
Yeah, on the final lap, I think I was sixth, coming to the white, and then uh, I think it was Harmon got turned into whoever was in front of me, and the seas parted. I was able to miss that, and then they wrecked above me coming out of four to just, and then obviously I was able to miss that as well to bring home second.
Now let's talk about that long green flag run we had. There was a little bit of a chance to catch a bit of breath. What was it like for you, just in that period between the two cautions where we had a decent run?
I almost fell asleep. It was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Um, no, it was single file around here. Just as it gets boring, but we wrecked twice in what 15, 16 laps. So I guess it was kind of necessary just to get some laps under our belt. And then once that last caution came out, well, the caution came out right when we were pitting, and then it was time to get stupid again.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be going to the Kansas Speedway. So, what's it feeling like for you as we head out to Kansas?
Um, Pretty good, honestly. Depending on what the setup's going to be. Last time we were at Kansas and officials, it was a rim riding track with this car because how tight the setup was. But hopefully it's not like that, and the bottom is somewhat useful. If not, then we're going to see everybody just rip the top, and it'll be tough to pass.
All right, Matt, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Uh, Shout out to Burgess for the win. And shout out to all the people who make this league possible, the admins, the driver council, all that. You for broadcasting these, you do a great job, and it's each and everyone who comes out every Tuesday and races. It's a lot of fun.
All right, well, thank you very much, and congratulations on coming home P2.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that was our second place getter, the one, the only, the Matt Horton. And coming up next, he's on a bit of a roll now. He's got a couple of wins under his belt, and he's feeling pretty good. From one Matt to another, it is, of course, the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt, great finish. Come home with another win. That's 2 for the season. So you're already 200% better than your previous record in a season. What's the feeling like for you as you've come home with the win at Daytona?
Yeah, usually super speedways I have the worst luck. I got lucky probably like 2-3 times here, and in this race, and managed to come out unscathed. Um, Unfortunately, I end up collecting Thomas in there, but I guess that's super speedway racing. You just a little bit of bump and something could take off, but and it's a lot of it's just luck. I mean, if you're in the right spot, the right time, and have the right pusher, or you got the right run at the last minute. So um, I got a little bit aggressive on that coming out of 4 there to try to keep. I think it was Joe behind me. Um, but yeah, he hit my rear and it turned me a bit right, and I think that unsettled his car. But yeah, I'll take the win. I mean, it's winning is a win, and they're hard to come by in this league, so I enjoy them when I get them.
All right, now let's just talk about early on in the race. We had a little bit of a run and then 2 very quick cautions. And then we went to that long green flag run, which culminated in green flag pit stops. What was the feeling like for you after having that little bit of a run going into 2 quick cautions? Did you think it was just going to become a caution fest for there, or were you pretty confident that we are going to get a decent run going?
I figured we get a decent run going. Usually we're pretty good there. I mean, I end up causing that one with uh, Harris because he was staying up in the third line. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to go middle, and he ended up coming down at the same time I decided to go middle, and just ended up turning him down into the bottom lane. I mean, his car straightened back out because of that, but a lot of other guys got taken out by that. And then I guess after that, I mean, the 2 cautions took out, damaged quite a few cars. So I figured we'd probably go green, and it was. I mean, as you saw, we basically just went single file to try to get some laps in, and before we kind of all went for it, the last few laps.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, Matt. We're going to be going to the Kansas Speedway. What's the feeling like for you as we head into Kansas?
Probably better in this race. Usually, I usually do pretty good at Kansas. I don't think I've. It was quite a while ago when I ran it in this car, so I'll have to see how it feels with this car the way it is now. And Kansas, I mean, there's still a fair amount of drafting involved, and then finding out, whether it's still going to be, more of a high lane, or, if it's going to be mid or it's going to be low. It's going to be an interesting race. I think we'll do a little bit better as far as the number of cautions. I think we had 3 tonight. So normally on those type of races, we usually maybe get 1 or none. So I'm going to go for 3 in a row. Thomas did it earlier in the season, so I'll try and see if I can do it.
Well, coming into this race, I'm just looking for you. You're coming in at P6, 49 points off the lead. And with this win and Thomas being down in eighth, you definitely clawed back quite a few points on him. And with a few people in between you and him having some issues tonight, you probably gained another couple of positions in the standings.
Yeah, which in the first race in Pocono there, I only got 2 laps in and ended up taking out the barrels, or the barrels took out me, and then one other race, I ended up suffering fatal damage. I think that was Richmond. So those 2 races hurt a lot in the points, but I guess it's a good comeback here with 2 wins in a row.
Absolutely. But before we let you go here tonight, Matt, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
A shout out to all the guys that come out and race every night. Um, it's tough to win, and sometimes it's tough to get around the track without getting into each other. But I do appreciate all the guys that show up night after night when we do this. Shout out to the rest of the admins and Jaron for running the league, and then shout out you for the broadcast.
All right, Matt, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on getting 2 wins in a row. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Kansas.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
All right, guys, that was tonight's winner. 2 in a row for Matt Burgess. But that is going to be all from us here tonight. Crazy race as Daytona is. But next week we go to Kansas, rim riding heaven. So until next week, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys in Kansas.